The Red Ribbon Army headquarters was in the middle of an evacuation. It was no longer a case of fighting another day. Instead, everything was frantic and filled with the hope of survival. General Magenta was not pleased with this entire situation, but he would rather survive instead of letting those horrible Saiyans wreck the place. He could see his trusty plane being blown into shreds by that insane blonde woman. She held him at gunpoint, but luckily, some of his troops who were in the vicinity had managed to obscure her vision with smoke grenades. He could only hear how frustrated she was when she was taking down the underlings who tried to get an upper hand on her. All of them failed. These loyal soldiers had given some time to activate an elevator hidden behind one of the containers on the upper level of the base. As his young assistant Carmine evacuated him to the nearest tunnel, they went into a car. Hopefully, they would be able to give up the chase. They could not see Blue in all of that, but to hell with him. It would be his responsibility. That is, if he survived. Which Magenta had some serious doubts over.
So, any orders, General?
Get us out of that tunnel, then we lay low. If someone survives, then we'll try again at square one.
As you say,
said the driver, setting an atmospheric tone for the car chase. Magenta only hoped that the tunnel would last. He could count only on himself right now. The commander had abandoned them, but at least he was alive. The Red Ribbon Army, therefore, would continue to live on. He just had to find a new idea to get behind. Suddenly, he felt very busy as some droplets of blood were dropping down the side of his face, as a bullet had cut part of his ear off and spread a lot of glass around the car. Carmine panicked slightly, and their vessel seemed like it started to go into a spin. That crazy woman was chasing them on a bike. She followed him after all.
Carmine! Do something! I'm trying, boss!
Launch smiled widely. Going anywhere, Bubs? Magenta, frothing from anger and pain, took out his own gun, trying to hit her, but the Dragon team, who is an expert in projectiles, gracefully avoided his on her bike.
Stand down!
She screamed at him as the two vehicles were going through the tunnel.
In your dreams, you crazy bitch!
Another shot from Launch came, from heavier weaponry this time, that removed the door clean off its hinges, which then caused Magenta to fall out of the car. Carmine wasn't sure if his leader had survived that or not, but he decided to leg it. He had a car. The hover car sped up, so Launch could no longer follow it. But that didn't matter right now. Yes, she was slightly annoyed, but she'd managed to actually take down the general. That guy with the funny hair was most likely just some lackey, not really worth chasing. I mean, come on. Launch then approached Magenta, laying on the road, battered, bruised, bleeding heavily, but still alive, only barely. She let out a deep sigh. You know, you're lucky that we're the good guys, you bastard. She put him on the bike, restrained him, and gave him a sensu bean, so he wouldn't die on them, as every member of the hit team on the Red Ribbon HQ was given one as well. Now let's get you somewhere else and make you answer some burning questions. Trunks was still shocked by what had occurred between him, Nomad, the androids, and his father. He managed to get a heads up from Launch though that she had been able to capture the general of the Red Ribbon Army, or at least one of them. The victory was looking very close. But then this old man came to claim that this was merely the beginning.
I still don't understand. Why aren't you helping us more directly?
The future boy tried to take in all of the information that he was being given.
I already told you. There are certain rules that prevent me from...
He took a moment to elbow Vegeta, who tried to get him from behind, having crawled out of the rubble.
Intervening too much. I'm trying to bend those rules and those that enforce them, as they are huge, arrogant imbeciles. But they have numbers on their side.
But Vegeta, stop embarrassing yourself. That, and I need Boxer to be in top condition.
Does it have to be Boxer then?
Yes.
I have conducted many attempts, and if you people are strong enough to deal with this thing,
you will help me.
And why? Why would we help you?
Because, Prince,
once we meet in better circumstances,
I can teach you a thing or two that would make you stronger. For now, my time is limited,
Your new problem should arrive in a week or two, but you cannot rely on just the time chamber. Boxer and Long John should have some major gains from it, but the more you use it, the less powerful you will be. But there are other methods.
Vegeta stopped assaulting Nomad, seeing that this wouldn't do anything.
So you want us to just stop fighting these two now? When we almost won? How are we gonna get them on our side?
The old man shrugged.
I don't know. Tell Boxer to use his boxer magic on them or something. That's your problem. All right, Mr. Know-It-All. Any advice on when we're going to fight this monster? Just one. Don't let him speak first. If you do, you already lost.
Vegeta smirked.
Oh, trust me, I'm not much for conversation.
Nomad though sighed, not impressed.
I've noticed. All right, time for me to go. For now.
He looked at his ring nervously.
I should be back when it arrives. Don't get lazy just because you defeated some red ribbon goons.
And as such, a portal appeared and sucked Nomad inside of it.
What do you make of it, father?
Trunks seemed very nervous.
Only the fact that I have to surpass this old coup to make him pay one day. But if he is that afraid of some monster, let's show him why we're superior.
The future boy had mixed feelings about this. Whilst his father's self-confidence was, as always, worrying, for the first time, he had used the word we when talking about potential. And Trunks really hoped that in this case it wasn't him using the royal we. But still, he thought, it would be good to have eyes on Lapis and Lazuli to maybe make sure that they wouldn't kill any more people in retaliation. Also search the base. That was a good idea. Maybe there might be some clues inside. He decided to start with that. They could maybe question this General Magenta later, when Boxer and Long John were out, because Boxer, he was very good at extracting information in a non-hostile way. He thought around things, and as he was scouting through the ruin, most of the Red Ribbon goons were either dead or they had already surrendered. But the most interesting thing to come out of all of this was one particular grunt, who was kneeling in the ruin of the main building. It was a blonde man, in a rather high-ranking uniform as well. It seemed like today they'd captured more than one general. As Long John and Boxer left the time chamber, they had learnt a lot about what had happened during their day of absence. The Red Ribbon HQ was no more, and the group had managed to capture two generals, General Magenta and General Blue, the latter of whom, had surrendered on his own accord. That was weird, thought Boxer. Piccolo was also watching Lapis and Lazuli from afar, who right now were lurking in some random cave, planning their next move. Trunks had also told Boxer about Nomad's warning, which caused some distress for Boxer. But what was surprising Trunks about Boxer and Long John was the fact that they seemed to be in a perpetual stance of Super Saiyan, without getting tired, which made Vegeta jealous, at least a little bit. Before he would go to confront the volunteers, he decided to talk with the generals. Magenta was rude and unwilling to cooperate, mostly trying to bribe everyone with his money from both pharmaceuticals and his inheritance. So he was Commander Red Sun after all. Blue, however, seemed defeated.
So, come to gloat about your victory, Boxer.
He glared at the Saiyan. Where's your leader?
I don't know. The last time I saw him, he was heading out to space to work on some special weapons project.
Boxer raised an eyebrow. Oh, what kind of space project?
We only know that he was using some old theories of Gero, and then cooperating with an alien scientist with a grudge against the Saiyans.
Vegeta? Any idea who that might be?
We've fought many enemies in our lives, Kakarot. Rightfully so, as we used to be very formidable.
All right. Tell me about Lapis and Lazuli, right? Blue looked at Boxer, puzzled.
Why are you so curious about them? To my knowledge, you people have already overpowered them.
I don't want to destroy them. I want them to surrender, just like you. We don't need any more bloodshed. The general remembered himself being at the receiving end of Boxer's mercy once. He wouldn't be here if not for that.
They joined our metahuman program to honor their parents who died in the light of combat for the Red Ribbon Army.
Boxer sighed deeply. Okay. So they're just misguided.
What makes you the good guy? The fact that you're building your own army of aliens and freaks? I mean, what's the difference between you and us?
I'm not building an army. Boxer's gaze narrowed. Really? Well, it surely looks like you are. Careful, Boxer. You might soon find out that we're not so different, you and I. The Saiyan remembered all the atrocities that Dr. Gero and the Red Ribbon Army had committed over the years, and everything the scientist had done to him. We are not alike. Then, leaving Lon Jon with Mark and Krillin, he decided to pay a visit to the android's hideout. Their first reaction was wanting to blast him, but they quickly realized that he was at least as strong as Vegeta. So, you came here to finish it yourself. Lazuli was looking at him with intense hatred. Well, here we are. Do it. I don't wish to hurt you. You've been manipulated into following some really bad people. Bad people? Our parents were the true followers. The army wanted to uplift humanity. Lapis got in front of his sister, looking even more like an animal driven into a corner. Listen, the army never had anyone's good in mind. Commander Red's goal was to rule the world and get taller. That's what the man tried to wish for on the Dragon Balls. What? You're lying. No, I still have scars from when Gero tried to dissect me. See? He pulled up his shirt to prove it. They were trying to force their vision on people. We saw them killing innocents and culling the villages. They were filling your heads with lies. Shut up, shut up, shut up! Think about it. You were stalling for that real weapon from your commander, but he left you all to rot. You don't owe him anything. Lazuli looked at her brother, confused. You were never important to the commander. He just wants to kill me because his father died when my friends freed me from captivity, after he conducted insane experiments on me. And then, for the first time in his life, Boxer opened up his true feelings about how scared he was of Gero and about how hard it was for him to get back his fighting spirit. They were listening, but the more shocked and appalled they were by the tale, the more relaxed they became. Please, let us help you. He offered them a hand. You don't need to hide. You don't need to escape. We can help each other. Lazuli looked at him distrustfully. Help you? Why would we help you? Because I know for a fact that that weapon is coming, and it'll be doom for us all. You won't get out of it. The siblings pondered this for a while. It was hard to trust someone who you were told to hate for most of your functioning life. But at the same time, they did feel pain. They had volunteered for all of the experiments, which almost broke them. This Saiyan man seemed honest about his experience. It, when they thought about it, checked out. If someone had forced him to go through all of this, well, maybe the army was flawed after all. They reluctantly accepted his hand. This doesn't mean we trust you yet, Lapis warned him. I'd expect nothing less, said Boxer, relieved. And as for the coming days, they were used to acknowledge them with the entire team. Obviously, Vegeta wasn't acting particularly friendly toward them, but the rest of the gang was. Even Trunks tried to change his attitude and explain things to them. But things were hard to swallow. Time travel? Their future selves were wreaking havoc and destruction? That could have been the breaking of this alliance, but again, just like with Boxer, there was honesty about the pain they could feel from the future boy. The three people that treated them the best though were Krillin and Mark, that's Boxer's lackey's best friends, and that woman Launch, who then attempted to be like a big sister to them. She was able to get to them very fast, and she seemed like a rebel type too, at least when she was in her blonde form. Other times, she was the sweetest person in the world. It was definitely a role model that these two siblings needed. Coolness and calmness, sweetness. Yeah, that sounded nice. The entire group used this time they were given to train. Trunks also asked Bulma to help him mend and reinforce the sword that had previously been broken by Nomad. He would show that old bat that he could make use of his favorite weapon. They were also monitoring every single space signal that came in the vicinity of the planet. They knew that the danger would be coming from space, so it's best be safe. And one day, it actually came in handy, because something entered the atmosphere. Everyone got nervous. Trunks, Vegeta, and Boxer arrived at the location, only to find a massive crater. They split up temporarily, as they wanted to check the vessel. It seemed like an escape pod of some sort, and as Boxer approached it, he discovered that it was still empty, despite it being sealed. Vegeta was checking the perimeter from the air, while Trunks was looking around the crater. It was then when he heard a soft, echoey voice.
Hello, Trunks.
He wasn't thinking. He simply charged toward the source of the voice and stabbed it with his sword. He was looking at a short creature with hints of opalescence on his body. It was grey, light blue, and black with his large lensed eyes. The creature was slightly surprised.
Why would you do that?
It was about half his size and started to glow with a blue light. It gently moved his blade to the side, through his body. It phased, as if the creature were a ghost or a hologram. There was a stab wound where Trunks had hit him, but it was slowly closing up and healing itself. It hissed silently with pain, much to the Saiyan's shocked expression.
Who does that without even saying hello?
It's you.
Oh, were you expecting me?
Trunks decided to go for a punch, but Perfection caught his hand and just gently moved it away.
I don't want to fight you, Trunks. You are relatively new to my memory, but according to all the information, you are quite formidable. It would be a shame to kill you right now.
If you don't want to fight, then what do you want? Perfection smiled brightly at Trunks, who got even more unsettled.
Peace. Peace in our time. And that's what we're going to be leading this right now.